Okay, we've got to talk about missing flight MH-370. Has it finally been debunked? Well, maybe. Maybe not. Let's go over the evidence. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and share on social media. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this is Jonas Deroe on his website here on his channel, having very compelling evidence showing that these clouds taken in the MH-370 video, at least the one purported to be satellite footage, these clouds are actually taken from stock images. And here you can see, here is the stock photo compared with the actual photo in MH-370 in the supposed satellite video. And you know, this is the from the video, and that's the stock image. Now he's had to stretch and you know, distort the cloud a little bit to line it up exactly. But it's really hard to argue that that's not the same cloud. I mean, that is very much the same cloud. And he goes through a range of examples showing the various clouds and you know, how this was could have been faked, right? And you know, but the story isn't over. So let's go over that. First, let's go to Ashton's comments, because he has he himself admits this is very damning and possibly, you know, the nail in the coffin. Although he says the conversation hasn't ended yet, and I have to agree with him on that. So let's talk about how the conversation may yet continue in the wake of this very compelling evidence showing that the satellite video was actually a composite of various cloud images. Ashton says, after having reviewed the raw images myself, I am prepared to make the following statement. The cloud images seem to be too close of a match to be coincidence. As a rational and logical person, I do not have a way to explain them matching to such a high degree. After talking with Jonas, I don't believe him to have any malintent. I can no longer claim that the videos are authentic due to this evidence. Kim has agreed to make a payment to Jonas for supplying the assets that may have been used to fabricate the satellite video. Since no hoaxers have come forward and Jonas admitted they did not hoax the videos, the bounty conditions have not been met, so the $150,000 will go unpaid. But the offer remains should this person come forward. The case remains unresolved. The body of evidence uncovered from investigating the videos is extensive, and the fire scenario still presents the best evidence-based story to date. MH-370 will not go away. So, okay, so why will it not go away? Let's talk about that. Here's a video I made a few days ago. Let me mute my head so that you can actually see me talking here. Very interesting. Are you seeing the hole? I'm seeing the U.A.P. I'm not necessarily seeing the hole exactly. I just see the U.A.P. moving through it. But let me know if you see the hole. Oh, right there. Okay, yeah, I can see it. I got you, Ashton. And he's right. That seems like an unlikely detail for a hoaxer to have included. Yeah, that does seem like an unlikely detail for a hoaxer to have included. So, yeah, so that's one piece of possible evidence that it wasn't hoax, because that is a weird detail, a very subtle detail for a hoaxer to have included. What other evidences do we have, or, you know, how can we keep the conversation going? Should it be going? And for the record, I have no stake in this. I have no dog in this fight. I'm just as happy for this to be resolved as not to be resolved. But I just want to get to the truth of this. And, you know, we're still in the fog of war. I don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction in response to a debunking video. I had that before with the Nazca mummies, and I was proven wrong. And I don't want to make the same mistake here. Here is from Think Tank from a few days ago. New details in MH-370 video unmasked. Cloud splits into two, and one of the orbs appear to originate from there. All right, let's see if we can make sense of that. Odd movements from small bright cloud, potentially one or two UAPs observing the plane from distance. Watch closely as becomes two. Footage slow down over here. Okay, you can see those two things there. Interesting. Okay, watch that corner of the sky. Let's just skip it. Same direction. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I can see that thing moving there. And here are some subtle cloud movements. Now for Jonas showed how cloud movements could have been faked, so I wouldn't say that's conclusive. But, that is an extremely subtle detail for a hoaxer to have added. And yeah, you can see more subtle details like that. Again, it seems very unlikely for a hoaxer to have added these extremely subtle details. Not to say that it's not hoaxed, but if it was hoaxed, they went to a lot of trouble to include very, very subtle details. The video goes on to show some other subtle details, again, that would seem unlikely for a hoaxer to have included. But, your mileage may vary. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Okay, here's another very compelling piece of information to think about. The timeline. On March 8th, 2014, MH-370 disappears from radar and stops responding. On March 12th, 2014, Regicide Anon, the leaker or hoaxer, allegedly receives the video. Regicide Anon publishes the split screen video, that's the satellite video, on May 19th. But it wasn't until May 27th that the Inmarsat raw data was released to the public for the first time. And so that is seemingly classified information that was released in that video that was not known to the public at the time. So either, it's legit in my mind, or it's deliberate disinformation from some inside source. The UFO control group putting out deliberate disinformation. And I think that's, quite likely. And we can go over reasons why they may have done that in a minute. And it wasn't until October 15th, 2015 that Colonel Mike Jackson confirms the satellite was used in the mission. So, okay. So, why would the UFO control group have put out disinformation? Well, of course, to make the UFO community seem fringe, right? To put out this wacky story. Totally possible. Certainly something they may have done. Why else would they have put this disinformation out if that's what it is? Well, because they themselves did something to the plane, and they put this UFO story out as a cover to make any conspiracy surrounding the plane into a fringe, wacky conspiracy. So that is always a possibility, and something I would not put past the UFO control group or the powers that be. If it wasn't the UFO control group, could have been some other party that did something to the plane and just using UFOs as a cover. Totally possible. Or it could be a genuine video somehow. I don't know how that would make sense if this stock of these stock photos are indeed, if they were used in the video. On the other hand, there's the subtle details, the clouds moving, the orbs making holes in clouds, other orbs appearing in the video that are so subtle that it makes me wonder if, if that's what was going on, if it was really an assemblage of stock footage. So, I have doubts in my mind about that. But perhaps this is a legit video and the stock footage is disinformation. Now, I don't think that's the case because I think the stock footage seems to be older than the disappearance of this plane, but that needs to be confirmed and addressed. Another option is for part of the footage to be legitimate and part of it to have been faked. Maybe there were orbs circling a plane or the plane, and then something else happened to it, and the animation of the explosion or wormhole was added to cover something else that happened. Maybe the orbs did something to the plane, and that was covered up by the the computer animation of the wormhole. Or maybe the orbs really did create a wormhole and took the plane into it or through that portal, whatever it was. And maybe it's a legitimate video, and the stock footage that has been found matching these clouds is the disinformation. Now, I don't think that's the case. So far, it looks like the stock footage is older than the missing flight. So, but that needs to be confirmed and corroborated. There is some evidence to suggest that maybe it has actually been updated and modified. This individual says that the metadata shows cloud photo was updated, edited this year. Not sure if that changes anything. However, this is heavily disputed. David says you can also view the same images on the Wayback Machine from 2016 and they haven't changed. Another person says, didn't the site change domain and shifted files to 2014 when it did? Yeah, and Jay Marley says the original photographer of the stock photos from 2012. And the original photographer has been identified. And I think Ashton has even spoken to that person. And again, that's from 2012, before the flight went missing, obviously. So, it's unclear if this is a compilation of stock images with a 3D render of a plane put in there and some orbs. Why there are all the subtle things that I've shown today, and others that others have shown as well. It's likely a very good hoax with some inside information, deliberate disinformation put out by somebody, the UFO control group or some other party, either to make the UFO community look fringe or to hide something they did. Those are my two leading theories. However, there are so many subtle little things included in the video, and the fact that there are actually two videos, three if you count the two satellite videos, and we don't have a debunking on the drone footage yet. But either way, it's not looking good for the authenticity of this plane vanishing. And honestly, that's probably I hate to say it, but maybe it's better to imagine them, the passengers of that plane, having a known fate and going somewhere better than having an unknown fate and potentially not. We don't know what could have happened to them if the story were true and they had been taken through some sort of portal. Either way, we need some final answers on this case. We need the drone footage debunked. I assume that the perspective on the clouds from the drone footage would be different from the satellite imagery. And, might show some interesting things about those clouds. Do they line up with the stock images? We need to answer that. We need to know how classified information could have been known to a regular hoaxer that wasn't, part of the intel community. So, if those can be satisfied, then we can just say, hey, it was just some regular random hoaxer. But if those can't be satisfied, then that definitely leaves questions. I certainly have questions, and I'm sure that some of you do as well. I really don't know what to make of all of this because of those unanswered questions. The subtle things in the video, like the U.A.P punching a hole in the cloud, maybe those other objects in the video as well. The fact that there could be two perspectives on this incident. The fact that, again, classified information seems to have been known by whoever put this up there. There's a lot of things we need to address and understand to finally resolve this and put this case to bed. But the evidence that Jonas put out there is very damning, and it seems very likely that this was all a hoax. So again, we need some answers. We need this to be finally resolved. But at the moment, it's looking like this was probably a piece of disinformation. But, again, we still need more answers. So let me know what you think about all this. Are you still open to the idea that this could have been a genuinely anomalous event? Or do you think this was a hoax or disinformation? What pieces of evidence have I forgot to bring up? There are the Prime Minister of Malaysia. He had some weird answers when asked about MH370. Stuff like that. Could be potentially pieces of evidence of something unusual happening to this plane. Either way, let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and all that stuff. Join me on social media, and I will see you guys next time. This is Jack with the Cosmic Road, signing out.